It all began with Iran's oil supply, one of the leading countries at the time of trade. In 1951, Mohammad Mossadegh was elected Prime Minister of Iran, building Iran and using its oil to create a state of wealth. Unfortunately, for the past 50 years, its vast oil supply in Iran belonged to the British, known as the England Iranian Oil Company, later to be changed to BP, British Petroleum. In 1953, the US overthrew Iran's democracy and installed a pro-US dictator, known as the Shah. Mossadegh was kicked out of the British and American government, wanting most oil trade to be given to them. President Eisenhower accepted the partnership. Mohammad Pahlavi came into power after 1953, bringing fear amongst his people with a secret police known as the Savak, created by the American CIA and Israeli Mossad. The Savak would torture those that dared speak out for the Shah's ruling, pushing a white revolution in order to westernize Iran and modernize it, giving women the right to vote and other reforms. However, he ultimately created a divide, serving for the elites, creating a massive economical gap for others. Religious leaders realized that the Shah was forcibly trying to rid of Islam amongst Iran, which in a country that was around 90% Muslim. Ayatollah Khomeini became the oppositional voice of the Shah. Due to his popularity, the Shah sent him to prison for 18 months. After his release in 1964, Khomeini was sent into exile to Paris for 14 years.
امام برای ما تبلور آزادی ملت بود، تبلور استقلال ملت بود، تبلور قیام مردم بود علیه ظلم رژیم طاغوت.
The people of Iran decided to overthrow their king, creating major protests. Due to this, the Shah banned demonstrations of any kind, decreasing the people's freedom of speech. But this did nothing. Soon, over 2 million people protested on the streets of Tehran, the capital of Iran, demanding for the Shah to be kicked out of power and for Khomeini to return. By 1979, the Shah was overthrown by popular revolution. The Shah left Iran for an extended vacation to the US. The people raged on the streets, destroying statues. Violence occurred regularly, demanding that the Shah be returned, tried for his crimes, and hanged.
عقب برید عقب، جلو نیاین، از امبسی فارغه بشین. خیلی وحشتناک بود. اونجا فهمیدیم که چه اتفاقی افتاده. فهمیدیم که استودنت های یونیورسیتی، اونهایی که به حرف آقای خمینی گوش میکردن، اتک کردن توی امبسی.
Due to this, the people of Iran attacked the American embassy until the Shah be returned, mentally torturing the hostages.
Carrying rifles and automatic weapons, we were taken out and lined up against a wall, spread-eagled.
Stripped down to our underwear, and they marched up and down, snapping at the elastic.
And they told us to put our hands up against the walls and not turn around. And they were clicking their little guns behind us.
It was click, click. And those whose Farsi was better than mine recognized the commands for a firing squad.
Hazar Khan, get ready. And then Hadaf show, take aim. And then nothing.
The university students that attacked the embassy demanded for 4 demands in order to return the hostages. Firstly, the US should return the Shah to Iran. Second, return the Shah's blood money to the people. Thirdly, due to the CIA's constant interference, a promise had to be made for no more interference in the near future. And finally, an apology from the US for the coup and for their past actions for electing the Shah. apology never came, but 20 years later, Secretary of State Madeleine Albright did acknowledge that their actions should have been handled better. How did all this end? The Shah died of cancer on July 27, 1980. President Ronald Reagan is sworn into office on January 20, 1981. President Carter's inability to successfully negotiate the release of the hostages had become a major political liability. The remaining US hostages were released and Khomeini came into power, returning Iran to an Islamic state.